What is up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North, aka Josh Thomas, here with another 10 under 10 DFS Army podcast where I talk about my 10 favorite plays, all projecting to be under 10% owned. This week, I am excited. We are in week 8. We are almost to the technically halfway point of the season. My Vikings lost yesterday. Carson Wentz isn't very good, guys. He's not good. If we're going to lose, let's lose with JJ McCarthy. I don't care if he has one leg or one Achilles. It doesn't matter to me. Let's lose with the kid and find out what he's got. But that is neither here nor there, because we are talking about the main slate on the weekend. We've got I think an exciting slate this weekend with a bunch of different games, a bunch of chalk that's already lining up. And we've got a bunch of great options to play to kind of get off of the chalk here. There's some thin plays here, guys. I'm going to tell you that. But again, you go back to last week, we smashed. We had Michael Pittman, a bunch of guys that really overperformed last week. And a couple of those guys are going to be on the list again today. Last week, we started with FanDuel. This week, we're going to start with DraftKings. Again, I try to get through this fairly quickly for you guys because I know that you've got things to do. Remember, chalk is chalk for a reason. High ownership plays are typically some of the great plays on the slate. You're just looking to find some leverage in different spots or to just get a little bit different in different areas. So on DraftKings, all right, we have Caleb Williams here in the Chicago Bears playing the Baltimore Ravens. Really excited about this game. I think this game absolutely shoots out. It is a 49-point total. And, the Bears are still very injured in their secondary. 3 of their starting defensive backs are out again, and Lamar Jackson is back. And all of his receivers are pretty healthy. So the assumption here is that we're going to see Lamar and the boys go bonkers on this Bears defense. And Caleb Williams is going to have to sling it to keep them in some sort of close game. Bears won 4 in a row. My boy Bobby Wow is feeling good about himself right now. So it's an interesting game. Like I said, it's in Baltimore, right? So I'm not a huge fan of guys on the road, but we got Caleb Williams throwing it up. He's been close lately to having that sort of big game, but it's just not been there like we saw at the beginning of the year. The 25-point potential, though, I think is there with this ownership combination. The Ravens D, like I said, is healthy. They're going to get Kyle Hamilton back, but this offensive line's been okay. I'd like to pair him with Roma Dunze. I think Colson Loveland's an interesting play here. And then your run back pieces are a cheap Derrick Henry, who's likely going to get pretty chalky, or guy that we've written about in here a ton that is just due for a monster game at some point, and that is Zay Flowers. And I think it could potentially come here. But again, that's going to be some fairly decent ownership, right? So let me get my screen back here. So that is my favorite lower owned DraftKings play. This next one is thin, but there is one reason why I'm intrigued in this play, and it is right here. Let me highlight. Can I get it highlighted? I'll run my cursor around it, and that is the $4,200 price tag on Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel has struggled. Don't get me wrong. This has been the Kinshon Judkins show. They are implied for 16 total points. But at 4,200, what you can do with the rest of your lineup, if Dylan Gabriel has at least a somewhat decent day against a Patriots pass funnel defense, the Pats cannot stop the pass. Doesn't matter who it's been against. They've struggled to stop the pass. They've been very good against the run, which, again, I like Kinshon Judkins. Don't get me wrong here. He's going to be on the FanDuel right up, but right? I do think that Dylan Gabriel, he's starting to get his feet under him. He's starting to build that connection, understand what's going on. I get that the Pats are a decently tough run defense, but they have struggled, like I said, in the secondary. I think Gabriel can go for 4X here. 16 points, a couple of touchdown passes. I don't hate it, guys. I don't hate it at all. I don't think you need to pair him with anybody. If Njoku misses, I think then it's pretty much a lock piece for Harold Fannin. But yeah, I do like Isaiah Bond. That's not like a play by any means. I think that he's just a good player. I don't really want to stack him here. What I want to do, guys, is I want to play Dylan Gabriel and CMC and JT. Or Dylan Gabriel and Bijan and, it's JT, right? I want to stack up these expensive guys with a quarterback who, again, likely is going to, not get you a ton of points, but 16, 17 points, I think smashes and gets you in potential for the nuts play. All right, looking down at running backs, I'm going to play Cam Scatterbo till he's $8,000 or over 10% owned. And right now it is looking like neither of those things are happening. 6,600 here on DraftKings. He's getting 15, 16, 17 carries, 3 to 4 receptions a game, if not more targets. He had 6 targets, I think, last week. Multiple TD upside every time he plays, multiple concussion upside every time he plays, but he's got a chance to be in the nuts every single week with the way he plays. So I love Cam Scatterbo. I just don't understand why the ownership is so low. I get the price is a little bit higher. And then we're going back to the well on a guy that we talked about last week that the game plan didn't quite work out for him like we thought it was going to, but I am going right back there with Rico Dowdle this week in the Carolina Panthers. He is a DraftKings and FanDuel 10 out of 10 play for me here. Chuba Hubbard back, we saw last week. You can make excuses about coming back from injury, but Dowdle is exponentially better. And Dave Canales has to realize that at some point, or else he's going to lose his job, despite the pretty decent start here. No Bryce Young this week. We're going to get Andy Dalton, which in my assumption means we're going to get more running game here. And Dowdle is just so much better. I think he averaged almost 2 more yards per carry last week than Chuba Hubbard. Like, Hubbard's going to get some, but a 70-30 split here is really what it should be. Buffalo is not good against the run. They've been thrashed by everyone. Absolutely in on Rico Dowdle here as well. So running backs, it's Scatterbo and Rico Dowdle. How do I say it? Dowdle. In a game that I think Carolina will be closer with Buffalo than everyone else expects. I really like Carolina to compete in this game, even with Andy Dalton at quarterback. All right. Switching to our wide receivers now. Everyone and their mother's going to play Jamar Chase, rightfully so. The guy's been just a monster, but T. Higgins looked great again last week. He's under 10% owned. I love pairing him with Flacco as well, who I like at quarterback this week. T. Higgins, smash play, 25-point total. I think that no Sauce Gardner, Cincy, and the Jets is a game that I expect to actually go over that 44-point total. Again, my only concern is that who's playing quarterback for the Jets? We have no idea what's happening there. They're dealing with lots of injuries. Garrett Wilson already ruled out. Sauce Gardner ruled out, which helps T. Higgins. But can the Jets keep up and force the Bengals to throw the ball? Another guy that was written up last week here, Michael Pittman Jr., put up 20 last week against the Chargers. Another good spot against Tennessee. Him and Jones are really starting to mesh. Love the upside of Michael Pittman Jr. here at 4% owned with a 31-point implied total against the Titans. Marvin Mims last week actually looked like the guy that everybody thought he might be coming out of college. He's got tons of upside here. Maybe he's starting to figure it out at the price tag, right? We're looking at 3,900 here. I'm willing to take some chances against Dallas in what I expect to be a bit of a shootout here. Denver D is obviously good, but I think we see lots of points scored in this game. Mims at 3,900 doesn't need much to pay it off. He catches a touchdown, he's in, and could be even more. Another Texas game, but Houston and San Francisco, we've got issues with Nico Collins is likely going to be out with a concussion. Christian Kirk is out. That means big opportunity for somebody like Jalen Noel, who looked great last week. Between him, Xavier Hutchinson, and Jaden Higgins, the 3 wide receivers there, I think there's a big time potential. I'm gonna go with Noel here, but you can go with any of them. All good options. At tight end, we talked about the Giants. I love sort of how it's Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, and then it's Theo Johnson, right? Big tight end, runs through guys, great ball catcher. This Philly defense has been pretty mediocre so far. So it's boom or bust, but I really do like them. And then the last piece on this DraftKings sides is the best defense in the league in terms of scoring. Okay. What is this? Oh, sorry. Okay. So I love the Falcons here against the Dolphins. They are a hot mess. You know what I mean? It's a mess. I am very concerned about this Dolphins offense. Mike McDaniel, the Falcons defense has been good. They can score, they can get sacks, they can get picks. I really like the pass defense here. So big ups on the Falcons D this week. All right, let's take a little look over on FanDuel. And we got Daniel Jones climbing ownership. Ownership's climbing. He might get over 10% by the end of the week, but regardless, again, a great spot. He's been an MVP candidate this year. He is a Pro Bowler at this point if he wants to. So love Daniel Jones. Like I said, love Pittman. The chalk play is going to be Tyler Warren. Don't sleep on the tight ends there, right? But yeah, great option. anytime you have a QB with a 31-point total, I think you need him in your player pool. Obviously, he's put up some good scores, but those scores could be much better if JT wasn't scoring a million touchdowns, right? Jonathan Taylor has scored, 3 touchdowns in multiple games this year. Even take 2 of those away and turn them into passes, right? We are looking at monster scores for Daniel Jones in those weeks. So love Jones. Talked about Flacco too. I think this is a great matchup for him. 25-point total, which is pretty solid on this slate. He's going to throw it a ton. Love Joe Flacco here. And I love to pair him with T. Higgins. Kinshawn Judkins, right? Again, I like a little punt on Dylan Gabriel at his prep. If anyone's going to score for the Browns, it's going to be Kinshawn Judkins. He's been good. He's been a volume monster. The Pats are tough against the run. Don't worry about, or not. You should worry about that, but it is something that I am willing to take some chances on with Judkins as well. So where'd my sheet go? There we go. FanDuel 10 under 10. Talked about Rico Dowdle. He's a great play on this site too, as well. Honestly, probably a better FanDuel play just because of how cheap he is. 6,300 is wild here. Love him. We talked about the Bears. Obviously the secondary is getting healthy for the Ravens, but Rome Odunze is on, he's just on the cusp of putting up big scores every single week. If he and Caleb Williams can connect, I think there's real potential for him to smash. George Pickens he has over a 40-yard reception in 3 straight games. That's insane, right? Broncos, tough secondary. Attention's going to be paid to Lamb, but Pickens has been so good. So good. Love him here, 7,200. Then a couple cheaper plays. Love Darnell Mooney, what he's doing in this offense. He's got the deep ball. He had 1 drop last week that was kind of important, but Michael Penix just rips it. I love watching Michael Penix throw the ball. He throws it hard. He throws it to the sidelines, and Darnell Mooney can really take advantage of that. He is sitting on a 100-yard touchdown type of game at some point here. And then we got Mac Jones likely starting again for the 49ers. It looks like Purdy's not going to be ready, and his favorite target outside of last week, where it seemed like there was a concerted effort to get Juwan Jennings the ball, Kendrick Bourne, definitely a PPR upside type of play, but also a touchdown play and a 100-yard play, right? He had 142 yards in 2 games, right? With Mac Jones at the helm. So absolutely in play here. Love Fant. I think that he is going to be a touchdown machine with Joe Flacco under center. You have the potential for 2 touchdowns, I think, with him. I think he gets in this weekend. And then Cleveland Browns. Love the Cleveland Browns defense. I love Drake May. Drake May has been awesome. Don't get me wrong here, but I feel like at some point we're going to get a little bit of regression to the mean with Drake May. And why not this week with the Browns defense? Been so good this year, holding guys to, getting lots of sacks, guys holding teams to pretty good or pretty low passing yardages. Obviously, Drake May can hurt you with his feet, but I do like the Browns here. I think that they have the potential, and May can turn the ball over, right? He's been great, but he can turn the ball over. We could see a pick 6, scoop and score with Ramondre Stevenson, getting the ball a little bit. So I do like the Browns here as well. Again, United DFS Army VIP, you want full access to all of our tools, all that jazz. You want to use that code up north, DFS Army gets 10% off VIP subscription. And we'll have all sorts of new content for you coming up here. I can tell you right now, as I'm recording this, the boys are recording their weekly show, their Friday show, which is, I'm closing in on 14 minutes here. So that's about 1/16 of the length of their show. They go for a long time. The nice thing is on YouTube, you can watch it at 2.5x or whatever it is. So that's what I got for you guys this week. I hope that this helps. Again, let me know who your favorite under 10% own play is in the comments, and we will chat soon. Peace. Good luck, everybody.